Hey guys, Sundown here. This is going to be an announcement video as well as a review video for a chapter release, because the chapter came out today for My Hero Academia, or Boku no Hero Academia. I'm going to be reviewing it, and I've finally caught up to the final chapter, the latest chapter of Boku no Hero Academia, and I've really enjoyed it. So I've decided I'm going to start reviewing that manga on my channel. Now this is a good thing for me. I've really enjoyed this manga. It's been so good throughout this entire time. I mean, I've been reading it, and then I've really enjoyed seeing the development between Izuku and Shigaraki, the guy with the hand guy. First in the unforeseen simulation joint where Izuku has All Might. I like the contrast between the both of them. Izuku has All Might in that unforeseen simulation joint, USJ, where Izuku has All Might, like I said. Shigaraki has his All Might, the Nomu and all that stuff. Stain arc, where Shigaraki finds out that what he lacks from Stain. Stain's like, you don't have any ideals, you don't have any convictions that you need to stick to. And Izuku is told by Stain that he has qualities that are necessary for a hero. So basically Shigaraki's told that he's lacking villainous qualities, whereas Izuku has heroic qualities. And then we have the whole one for all and all for one thing, and where Shigaraki loses his mentor. Essentially, he's still alive, but he has to learn to function on his own. He has to learn to become an evil ass villain by himself. And then Izuku and the students at UA, they all lose All Might essentially to retirement, and they must learn from his example and from his shining ass example. So then we came to the internship arc, where students are learning on the job with the big three guys from UA and pro heroes, and they're learning what it takes to become a hero, the ins and outs of becoming a hero, exactly what you need to do. Where Shigaraki is learning from what remains of the Yakuza on how to be a true villain, organized, prepared, and able to utilize his men properly, which is what Overhaul is really teaching him and instilling in him. You need to be more prepared. You need to know the merits of each of your individual subjects, and you need to use them properly. But what this chapter does, this latest chapter, so this is chapter 148 of Boku no Hero Academia, The Sorrows of Young Togais. So what this chapter does is it develops Shigaraki a little bit more. We get to see a little bit of growth from Shigaraki, because he's finally learning to instill trust in his group. We haven't really seen him do that yet, because he's come from a background of what seems to be a horrific background. We don't truly know his story yet, but there's definitely possibly the death of his father, considering he wears his father's hand on his face, and it definitely has something to do with All Might, which is why he has this innate hatred for All Might and One for All, it seems. So he develops this trust with his team, and he's like, you know what, I gotta trust you guys, and you gotta trust me. So I thought this chapter was good on that part. I liked what I understood, but just to really bring it to light, there was a lot of this chapter which I found really confusing. Now, some people were saying it on the Magna Stream comments, and people were giving them flack for not having understood. But I'm one of those guys. This chapter, the parts where Twice and Toga were interacting, and they were indirecting the war guy, they were provoking him. That part was confusing as hell for me. I didn't know what was going on, because I didn't really know what they were actually talking about. They were saying things which didn't actually have substance to them. They were just really weird sentences. Like, if you read it, I think you'll understand. The sentences didn't actually really make that much sense. It was a really weird part of the chapter. I didn't understand what was going on. So for me, the chapter was really confusing, and I didn't understand a lot of what actually went down. But the parts that I didn't understand, they were good in and of itself. And just having seen the pictures of the chapter, I know the direction it's going to go. So it was a good chapter nonetheless. But let's get right into it. So this is going to be my first chapter review for Boku no Hero Academia. So we see Izuku at first realizes that the blonde chick from the provisional license exam was Toga. He's like, oh shit, what are the League of Villains doing? That was Toga. So then we get Twice, who his lines throughout the manga that we've seen so far have been gold. He's basically Deadpool in a manga. So Twice was all like, when he sees Sir and all them, he's like, aren't you a bunch of salarymen? And I was like, yo, this guy. So then we see Rapper number 2, which is the clone of Rapper, the punching dude that was fighting against the Fat Man. I think is his name Fat Man? I think his name is Fat Man. And Red Riot, I've forgotten his name, Kirishima, I think it was. So Rapper number 2 gets wrecked by Sir, or Night. Is it Nighthawk? Nighthawk, I think it is. And Sir uses this hypermass seal. It's this little item he's got. It's basically a 5 kg weapon, which I think amplifies its weight or its momentum as it's being thrown or upon being thrown. But whatever it is, he threw it with enough force to basically hit Rapper like a bullet, and he just gets pinned against the wall, and the guy's out, and he obviously melts. And then you see Sir, because his shirt got ripped off and his tie got ripped off, and he is shredded. So he's a very close quarters fighter, using his ability to be able to see what someone's about to do and then get in and knock the shit out of him. He's a really good fighter, which you'd expect from All Might's sidekick. So then Twice runs and he gets walled in by the Yakuza, and his mask tore while he was running away, and he starts going apeshit. You know, he starts doing that whole I'm gonna split thing. So Toga then fixes up his mask on the fly. She puts like this bandana on his head, and it's fine. But then what she does is she provokes the Yakuza guy, and this is where I was like really confused. I'm not sure whether it was the dialogue or how Manga Stream translated it, because usually their translations are top notch, but this time around, I seriously didn't understand what was being spoken about. When she says like first, she said something to Twice like, you were only one when your mask is on. I was like, I didn't understand that part. Maybe I'm just reading it wrong. I don't know. But then all their dialogue from then on, like she was indirecting the wall guy, and I didn't really understand how she was provoking him, because it didn't sound very provocative in the way it was said. I didn't get it until I was reading through it. I read through it like 5 times, and then I was like, okay, maybe she's provoking him a bit, because those were the eyes she was giving him and the way he was responding. But when he calls them, when the wall guy calls them both, he's like, oh, what are these guys are crazy or something like that. Or why are they so crazy or something like that. I was like, his response to what they'd said in the panel before wasn't there wasn't a logical progression. It was just like I was like, that's not the type of response I'd expect from something like that. Maybe she'd said something else. Maybe she said something which was translated a bit off. So that's why I was just really confused. Let me know if you guys were confused as well, because I was severely confused all the way throughout this part of the chapter. So then, as I said, Toga provokes the wall guy, and she basically says that they're worthless, that the Yakuza are worthless. And then we get this flashback to Shigaraki, and this was the part where we see Shigaraki's development. And in this flashback, Shigaraki is telling Twice and Toga that they're going to the precepts. He's like, we're going to team up with these guys. Their plan is pretty legit. I'm going to team us up with them, and you're the two I've delegated to go to the precepts and become one of them. And they're both against the decision. First, it was Twice. He's like, look, Magni died, which was one of their teammates, the Magnet guy, and Mr. Compress lost an arm, and it's all my fault. So Twice is basically, he's a little bit, well, he's very almost depressive at this point, because of it was his fault that he let in the 8 precepts overhaul, and he lost the man and he lost someone's arm. It was all on him. So Twice is pissed because of that. And Toga also questions Shigaraki. She's like, why do we have to team up with people that we hate? You know, it's a decision I don't like. So then Shigaraki, like I said, shows growth. He shows his face to his crew dem to begin with. You know, he shows that he trusts them. He shows them his face for the first time. I think we've seen him show his face before, but this was like the first time we see it in its entirety. He's got a scar on his lip. I think he's got a scar on his eye. He's got like these burns/wrinkles above his like nose. So from halfway up his face upwards, he looks pretty messed up. But and for some reason Toga and Twice, they were really shocked by his face, and I was like, this is kind of what I expected, you know. But maybe they were shuddering at something else, I don't know. But Shigaraki says that the Yakuza want to take in the League of Villains, and they want to make use of them, all the people within it, and subjugate them, make use of them and everything like that. But they've not once treated them as equals yet, which is true. They've been kind of, because they have more experience in this area, they seem to be looking down on the League of Villains and Shigaraki. So he then says, I believe in you two. Essentially saying, you two can go do whatever the shit you want. Basically, make a riot. Just create a riot. So Toga disses the Yakuza's bedridden boss, and the war guy goes ape shit. He's just like, nah, I'm not having any of this. So Twice is doing things his way. He's part of the annoyance, or he's partly responsible for the annoyance that the war guy feels at Toga and Twice. So Twice is like, yeah, I'm doing things my way. This whole narration, I didn't understand whose point of view it was from, and then I realized that Twice is the only one in this chapter that refers to Shigaraki as Shigaraki, whereas Toga refers to him as Tomura or something like that. So that's how I knew it was Twice. Like I said, it was all a bit confusing, a bit jumbled and stuff, so I didn't really understand a lot of it. But Twice is like, I'm doing what I want to do because Shigaraki has faith in me. So they're basically being given the keys to the kingdom. It's like, go apeshit. So they've gone apeshit. So the Yakuza turns on all of them. Toga, Twice, Izuku, and Ereza are all in the same room now. So it's basically a free for all. And that's why I was like, next chapter is going to be dope. Because they're all in the same room. Lockrock is basically dead on the floor. I think he's actually still alive. He's just suffering from a lot of blood. Well, he's bleeding out at this moment in time. But like I said, I hate to admit it, but this chapter is the first chapter I've had in Boku no Hero Academia where it's just been confusing as shit. For me, it didn't flow very well. The narrative at the end was confusing, and I didn't really understand what was being spoken about for that the Toga Twice section of the chapter. It was really confusing. But in terms of what's about to occur and the chapter in general, in terms of what I did understand from it, it's a 7 out of 10. Because what we're about to go into is going to be sick, and what actually did transpire in this chapter, had it been translated maybe a little bit better, and had it flowed a little bit better, it's all the same. It was still a decent chapter. So I'm really looking forward to this free for all, and I really like that Izuku, for one, they continued his analytical side, and he realizes that Kami chick, what was her name? I don't know if that was her name, but the blonde chick was actually Toga in disguise. So let me know what you guys thought. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let me know if you want me to carry on reviewing Boku no Hero Academia, because I'm going to be doing it anyway. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'll talk to you guys in a bit.